This is a rock crusher, and for the past 2 days I've been doing a lot of rock crushing. That bucket right there is full of ore crush, and that's what I'm going to be processing today in the sluice box. I've been doing a ton of research on some old gold mines in my area, and I found one that is literally just outside of town, so I'm going to head there today and see if I can't find any nuggets in my metal detector. I've already gone for the mad scramble into the bush. There was only 2 shafts marked on this map and I found one of them. It's spider season here in Australia, and these things are strung between every tree. It's a real pain in the ass because it's very difficult to walk through here without at least getting 2 or 3 on you, minimum, every time you move. Here's one of our first little loaming pits. That's not what we're after. This is just them chasing the gold up the hill. If you watched any number of videos on my channel, you would think that all I do is stop, get out of the car, and find gold. But most of the time, I'm doing this kind of adventuring. Here it is. This is what we came out into the bush for. What you're looking at is an 1890s gold mine. Check that bad boy out. Woo! Down it goes. There are just 2 shafts in this area, this one and one about 50 meters behind me. And the reason I came here, even though there aren't very significant hard rock workings, is because that below this point was marked as an alluvial goldfield. That means whatever they sunk these 2 shafts on was rich enough to create the alluvial goldfield below it. With the shaft just there, it looks like this mound of dirt is their waste rock. It's not going to take me too long. That's where I'm going to start. Nice. It sounds very close to the surface, so we're just going to take a little bit off. Yeah, we've already moved it. It should be just here. Or not. Exploring and searching for old gold mines is how I found my best spots. Most of the time you'll strike out, but occasionally you'll find a really rich spot that gives you gold ore or great alluvial gold. That looks like a bit of old lead to me, but you know, you can't win them all. First target of the day. I promise you, no matter how far out in the bush you think you are, a man with a beer has been there before you. No more signals in the waste rock pile. Started working around the edge of the shaft just to see what they might have kicked out. And there's certainly plenty of lead, which indicates that no one's detected this area before. On a lot of high-end gold detectors, lead sounds similar to gold. Ooh, alright. So if you're finding lots of lead, there's a chance no one else has dug that area before. That's a very annoying spot to have to dig that out of, but I will try. The old timers would throw some of the waste rock up out of their shafts and it would land in little piles like this just outside, and we've got a neat little signal here. Sounds alright, could be another pellet though. Is that it? Oh wow. Continuously impressed by the 6000. That is a tiny piece of wire. I've spent about 45 minutes here. I've had a look around and it feels like there's been a gun battle fought here with the amount of bullets I'm pulling out. I mean, that's great. It means it hasn't been detected before, but I'm also not finding any gold to keep me motivated. So, to the next spot. The next gold mine was meant to be bigger, with an adit, 2 open stopes, and a shaft. But you know what they say, size isn't everything. The research that I did said that these mines were much more significant. There's 1 adit and 3 open stopes, and that gives us a lot of ground to cover if I can find them. Right ahead of us here, there is an old road. See that straight cut edge? And then a beautiful road that should hopefully take us to some gold mines. Looking up this road and just trying to spot any workings. That right there is a waste rock pile. Here we go, this is one of the open stopes. Look at that. Oh, you can see down in it. That's still open. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it, but there's actually a tunnel going in underneath the hill. I mean, that might be a bit sketchy, but I'd love to go in there. This one's obviously all been filled in, but the waste rock pile is what we're interested in. And look at how big this thing is. I ain't going to bore you with all the very rusty stuff I've been digging up. That's the best nail I've found. And this is my best find of the day. It's just a nail that's been bent up so they could hang something off it. But nonetheless, still kind of a cool relic. So other than these couple of pieces, I've found a couple of bullets and a couple bits of rust and nothing else. It's unbelievable how little stuff is in this ground. I'm going to retire the detector for the day and I'm going to pick up the sluice box so I can process my gold ore. Finding, extracting and crushing gold ore is amongst my favourite type of prospecting. You never know what you're going to get out of a bucket of powdered quartz. It's kind of like helping your grandparents out on a Sunday.
Here's a bit of gas money.
I don't need any gas money.
Shut up. Oh. Shut up.
I don't want your money.
I don't give a shit what you don't want.
It's literally been a few years since I've been here. It's a beautiful place to set the gold box up. Gazzy and I sampled the ore we're going to be processing today just a few days ago, and I spent some time getting it down to a nice powdery consistency. I've got the whole gamut of running gold ore like this, from 4 grams in a single bucket all the way down to exactly 0 specks. I'll be damned if that's not what makes me keep coming back to do it again and again. For quite some time now, my main pursuit has not been hunting alluvial stream gold. There's something about hard rock that really interests me because you can get massive payoffs from not that much work once you find them. Whereas stream gold hunting is very difficult. I would have to take literally hundreds of pans from across an area like this to find the best deposit. And that deposit might only be half a gram. Whereas if you find the right hard rock deposit, you're talking ounces of gold in just a few buckets. Three-quarters of a 20-litre bucket all run through. Let's find out. I would be very surprised if I could see any gold down here because most of it's going to be super freaking fine. But actually, there is a little speck just up here and there. Yeah, nice. Alright. Usually when you take sample buckets like this, you're expecting to hopefully find trace elements of gold, like 1 or 2 little nanodots. To actually see some chunks in the riffles is a really good sign that we might be onto a winner. Yeah. Finding huge amounts of gold in gold ore is not the main driver. It's the fact that no one else has ever held or seen this gold before. I'm the first one. Normally I would tell people to take this stuff home and clean it up properly because you run far less risk cleaning up really sensitive gold material like this at home than you do on the creek. But we're just going to reduce it enough so I can have a look to see if there was any decent gold in there. This is always the most exciting part. You've done all that work, hiked out in the bush, found the mine, got the ore out of the ground, processed it, and now you get to see if there's any gold in it. Look at the sulfides. That is a big pile of silver sulfides. Oh, and I can see little pickers. Oh, look at that. Yeah, boy. 3/4 of a single bucket, and we got all of that. See how fine some of that gold is? That's why you got to crush it up real fine, but we actually got some nice little pickery bits from it too. Look at all these little sharp pointy pieces down here. And that's the thing, most of the time when you're doing ore crushes, you won't see pieces that you can pick up like that. Most of the time, you end up with ore that only gives you like 100, 200 mesh gold. So that, my dear friends, is a fantastic result. For 1 bucket, not even 1 bucket. Look at that. This is what I love about gold prospecting. Even though we didn't find any gold at the first 2 mine sites that we went and hit, there's the potential to take a dry washer back there. I got a lot more detecting, and I can even sample some hard rock. And the point of doing that is that you may come across a place that's giving you this kind of gold in every single bucket. Whilst the gold mines may have been a bust, the ore bucket had inspired me to get out with the big high banker, just to remind myself on how difficult alluvial stream prospecting really is. Well, 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 if it isn't Senor Sweatpants for the high banker. I have been crevicing the bedrock in this creek over the last couple of days. I found some really spectacular pans. At the upper end, we're talking about 1 to 200 specks a pan. That right there is a nice little pan. And at the lower end, we're talking about 10. And right where old Sweaty Pants is digging there.
Pretty short.
White.
No.
What happened?
He hates bright lights.
Unlike trees, Gadsy's legs don't need sunlight to photosynthesize. The gravel bar over here is averaging somewhere between 10 and 15 specks a pan, which is why we set up Houdini here. 10 or 15 specks a pan is not very much, but these crevices were so loaded and they continue on into the bank, so we've got to strip this overburden off, which has got gold in it, to get to the good stuff. Have you ever wanted to be as clean as a gold miner? Get the face spritzer 3000 today! Yeah! Don't get me wrong, high banking is an incredibly efficient way of prospecting and mining for gold. These machines allow you to shovel a lot of dirt through very quickly. Meaning if you've got enough pay dirt to warrant setting one of these machines up, you're in for a good time. But most of my spots have very thin, narrow pay streaks that are easy to overshoot and work out quickly. Which is why I like hard rock, because a single bucket can yield just as much gold as a full day high bank. I haven't been this moist since college. We're finding that there's too much loose gravel here, And that's a bit surprising because I found gold roughly where the pump's drawing water from, and I would have assumed that the pay streak cut through here because of all the crevice gold I was finding. But the rule is pretty simple. Gold prospectors make plans and the gold gods laugh. So we're coming down to where the crevices go into this gravel bar. So we know we're getting really good gold here. I've test panned here and we're getting decent gold there. Fingers crossed that Gadsy's soft little man hands are going to find some delicious gold. Gadsy, what have you done with all the gold?
I didn't do anything.
Where's all the gold?
Fine micro gold.
One there. Gadsy, I promise you it's there. It is. Today I want to talk to you about the power of the number 2.
Yes, it's 2.
Not 2 minutes later, not 2 feet apart, about 2,000% more gold in the pan. I told you, I'm the wizard. It's just blah, blah, blah. So, sweatshorts, coffee break. And I've spent all my money on a plane ticket, so. You know there's a Dare Ice coffee shortage, right?
Yeah.
There's a Dare Ice coffee shortage. This isn't illegal yet.
Well, you're helping me.
That's right, this is a charity buy, so Gadsy can get the only Dare left in bloody Albury Wodonga. What have you been relicked to buying?
Small dirty dare.
Small dirty
I
Dares.
picked that up off the streets. That's how desperate I'm
From a
getting.
dealer?
Yeah.
It is not very often that Senior Sweatpants gets angry about something, but he spent hard-earned money on a gold panning kit from Anaconda.
Anaconda. Look at that.
It's brand new, this pan.
Yeah, I've used it 3 times.
It's
Well, when
ridiculous.
you put gravel in it, it flexes.
Gadsy wants all of his ferrets back.
I want the ferrets.
We're about to run out of liquid dinosaur. That is what we're here for. This could be my new Tinder profile picture. It's fish. But in my case, where prospectors, it's bedrock, and bedrock is just exactly what we want. $4 coins at me.
Make it rain.
They call me Candy. Lap dance. Anyone want a lap dance?
Dance. Anyone like a dance?
A few more than 10 nanos. If we're getting that in every pan. If we're getting that every pan, I could quit stripping. Why is this? I'm strong.
I thought you would be strong with all the pole dancing and stripping that you do.
For core strength, bro. This thing revolutionized that pump, but I keep forgetting that I've got to use it every time I stop and start it. Now, if you've ever wanted to see someone jam a toxic floppy into a small hole, you've now seen it. That took an embarrassing amount of time to do. Well, Super Soakatron is all finished. We're out of time, so clean up. First shotgun pellet. Damn, son. We've sluiced a creature.
What is that?
A thing.
Oh.
Yeah, it looks pointy at this end. Helps if I undo the other side, Chris. Gadsy and I had spent a total of 2 hours high banking, but we got some okay gold for our efforts. This is just the minus moss at the top. It's not the riffle mat underneath it, and I'm not going to wash it all the way down. I'm going to do most of this at home so I get it done properly. We just want to see some of the gold that we got. Yeah. I think this might turn out to be a decent little cleanup once we get the entirety of the rest of the high bank cleaned out. So these guys, we may have been looking for these
Might have needed them.
in sort of a panicked way for a little bit. They were safely kept in the canopy lock because, yeah, I'm a thinker. I kept these real safe.
Big brain.
Yeah, no one has anxiety. Dealing with large high banker concentrates requires a small high banker to help reduce them. I've got the mini gold fox all set up, so we can turn these concentrates into a little bit less of a nightmare to deal with. For a small quantity of soil like this, I've just got a very shallow tub, and my pump's running out of a gold pan to keep most of the silt out of it. Giving it plenty of time between scoops because these heavy black sands will completely overload these ripples otherwise. Now that we've reduced the Mega Bankers concentrates down to a usable amount, we can run them over the miller table, which is the easiest way to separate fine gold that I've found. The miller table stage is by far the most satisfying part of all my gold prospecting because it's where you start seeing the gold come out of your concentrates. And that's why we reduce and reduce and reduce, because the gold we're trying to extract out of the concentrates is very small. Before we compare the gold from the ore crush bucket to the gold we got out of the high banker, I just wanted to mention that this month over on Patreon, I'm giving away not only a 1 gram guaranteed jar of pay dirt, but a gold panning kit as well. Costs a whole $1 to sign up and there's no long-term commitment, so if that's something you're interested in, check out the link below. This is all the gold I got out of the 20-litre bucket of ore crush next to a guitar pick for a little bit of scale, and that's pretty good considering including everything from mining, crushing and processing it, that only took an hour. Compared to Gadsy and I digging for 2.5 hours on a high banker, which takes a lot more fuel and a lot more effort. But at the end of the day, I do this because I am an enthusiastic gold prospector and I just love finding it.